It's a hard place to get out of sometimes, Jennifer. Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. Brittany Higgins.
Here in a while.
Brittany Higgins got a mention on the news today. Have a look for Brittany Watson on the internet. She's an Aboriginal woman who was murdered in Western Australia, and there's been no reports on the ABC about her. Good morning. Bill Thompson for Outside Insiders. I came down to the studio this morning to see if I could have a chat with ABC's Indigenous Affairs correspondent, Isabella Higgins. So far, no luck, either coming or going. A couple of the studio journos have already left. I'll wait for another few minutes, but on the off chance that Isabella Higgins doesn't emerge, what I wanted to ask her was, about a year ago, on the Australian newspaper online site, I read a report about an 18-year-old Aboriginal woman, an 18-year-old Aboriginal mother, who had been murdered in a township near Newman in Western Australia, and her body was found dumped in a wheelie bin outside the Newman Hospital in May of 2020. And I've been regularly checking the ABC's News Online site for any reference to the murder of this 18-year-old Aboriginal woman in Australia, in Newman in Western Australia. And to this day, a year later, ABC News has never reported the death by murder of the 18-year-old Aboriginal mother, Brittany Watson. This morning, the ABC Insiders panellists were all too keen to talk about Brittany Higgins' meeting with the Prime Minister recently in relation to her allegation that she was raped in Parliament House, which is obviously a very serious matter. But I would have thought that the murder of an 18-year-old Aboriginal mother and the fact that her body was dumped in a wheelie bin outside the Newman Hospital might have been of interest to the ABC News department as well. And apparently not. There was a report on the ABC News online site for Western Australia at the time of the discovery of Brittany Watson's body in the wheelie bin, but it didn't name Brittany, and it reported that an Aboriginal youth had been that a youth had been arrested. There was a news report, I think in January this year, that a 17-year-old youth had been convicted of murdering Brittany Watson and sentenced, I believe, to 8 years in jail. And the article it was either the Australian or another news online site, suggested that there had been discussions about traditional punishments which might be applicable to the 17-year-old as applied by members of the community in Western Australia. And the report that I read, including reference to the fact that he might be subjected to spearing. What I found ironic on the ABC recently, following the death of Prince Philip, was their reference to the fact that during a visit to Australia, I think in 2002, Prince Philip had spoken with some Aboriginal men and asked them if Aboriginals still threw spears at each other. And the ABC apparently was very delighted to bring that to the attention of Australians about something that Prince Philip had said in 2002, and according to the media report that I recently saw, apparently spearing may still be applicable in Aboriginal communities to this very day. As it's happened, after waiting here for about 20 minutes after the end of the Insiders program, Isabella Higgins, the ABC's Indigenous Affairs correspondent, hasn't emerged from the front door of the ABC, so I'm going to head home and take the rest of the day off. Bill Thompson for Outside Insiders.